A very big welcome to you, my dear Sagittarius. So the Sun now is in the Peacemaker. And I find it very interesting that in the month where the Sun is in Taurus, which is the Hierophant, which is the Peacemaker, we have a new Pope that was elected. And his first message was, make peace. So the Sun in your deck is rebirth. And rebirth in being grounded, in being a peacemaker. The 19 turns into a 10, the 10, and the 5 is the 15. Get attached to the good things, get attached to your roots, but don't get attached to the glory of being someone of significance in that level that you can then do whatever you feel like doing. You are just a medium, right? And so see that for yourself, because the 15, which is Capricorn, is the devil, is this attachment. And the church has created the devil, right? The devil doesn't exist as a person. When we calculate the 15 together, we get the 6. And the 6 is self-love, is the third eye. And so this is already the story. In the deck of Taurus, we see the Hierophant classically here with the 2 disciples, the triangle that's pointing up. And here we see the person and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people sitting here. And so here is a 6 inside. Reach to the 6, reach to the third eye. And it's really a beautiful message already. The Sun then is giving the light to the Moon, which is in your sign. And so we see the blending of the 2 cups. One is the masculine that is giving, and the other one is the feminine that is receiving. The grandmothers are here to plant the seeds, to give the wisdom to you through your dreams. And so here the 18 turns into a 9 and the 14 turns into a 5. So then you have a 5-5 portal here. And the 5 is always the 5th chakra. The communication and the speech that we want to bring to the people. Because, I mean, he's a peacemaker. So how is he doing it? He's by acting and, of course, by speaking the words. So the 5 and the 9 turns again into a 14. You appear here in your dreams, and you are understanding then the 5 as the 5 senses, turning it up into the 6. So a beautiful message already is coming just by explaining the Sun and the Moon, right? And where it's stationed. And in there we see that the message is strong, right, for you. Then we're going to look at the Eagle, at the Knight of Wands. Is your birthday between November 13 and November 13 and December 11, then this is your court card. And I'm trying to include, if you are a mix, the mix is the Harvest Lodge of the Stone. That is then, of course, the Capricorn. So some people are a pure Knight of Wands and others are connected up here with the blending with Sagittarius, right? Here it's a pure Sagittarius combination, and here it's a mix. And so I'm trying to incorporate the mix as well, because I want to test if that works. So I'm starting with you this adventure, right, to try something new. You are the 9th zodiac sign. As a Sagittarius, you want to discover the world, and as the number 9, you're also connected to the 9th house of believing and learning. We're going to look at Jupiter, because Jupiter is ruling you, and that's the harvest in your deck. And we are going to look one more time at Pluto. Pluto is the discernment, the last judgment, because Pluto in Aquarius is retrograde for the first time. And so I want to see what the message is there. back to the last reading where we had a second time Aries Sun giving Sagittarius Moon the light, right? And Neptune has moved there into Aries and stays for 14 years. And the 14 is significant for you. The message was when you step out of time and serve the watcher in you. And interesting enough, the harvest lodge of the stone has come up there, but there is not another reoccurring card. And so I find it very interesting that back then somehow I felt maybe already that I need to start also to include into the reading the people that are not a pure Sagittarius, right? Where the sun is in Sagittarius and the court card is also in the Sagittarius date, right? And I have listed that below in my description so you can have a look, right? You just need to check the dates for the sun in Sagittarius. And then there is the mix. There is Sagittarius soul, but as a court card, the Queen of Pentacles, which is already Capricorn, right? And so please look below if you are then rather a Queen of Pentacles. Good. So we begin the reading. I begin the reading with the Eagle, with the Knight of Wands. And what has come up is the Apprentice of Bowls, and those are the water signs. That's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And you see that she's standing behind this young person who is learning to heal, who is learning to work with his emotions here in front of the heart. He holds one bowl, and that bowl is the one that is feminine, because the other one that is pouring into the receiving one is the masculine. So I see that this is the feminine bowl that he is working with. And you see that the 9 and the 3 zodiac signs in here create then the 12. And the 12 is Neptune in Aries for 14 years. So something where you can really take action on your dreams of healing yourself. But then I can also say, okay, here's the 9 and here are 2 people. The 9 and the 2 is the 11. That's a portal, a 1-1 portal that might be of significance for you. Then I want to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and you get the 5 of Swords, which is Venus in Aquarius. Now Pluto has moved into Aquarius, and we're going to look at the discernment at the shadow side. And Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio is right in here, right? And so here Venus is, of course, the Empress. And we see that the pentagram is pointing down, right? And here this wasp or this yellow jacket is inside of the pentagram. And so here you feel there is gossip, you feel there is quarrel, you feel that there is something blocking you of this healing. And so the 3 and the 5 is the 8 and the 9 is the 17, and the 17 is then Aquarius, and Pluto is in Aquarius and is in retrograde right now. So maybe there comes the quarrel, maybe there comes the fact that you feel something is not feeling good. When I calculate then the 17 together, you get the 8, and the 8 is always the infinite quarrel, right, that we can get pulled in if we do not stop for a moment and feel what is actually really going on in this quarrel. What am I trying to prove? And so observe that and learn to work with that. Now, the Harvest Lodge of the Stone. Now, if you have the court card Capricorn, right, she's the 10th zodiac sign, and as the 10, she's connected with the 10th house of career and wanting to be really good in what she's doing. You get the 3 of Cups, and the 3 of Cups is Mercury in Cancer. And so Cancer is literally saying the 10 and the 3 is the 13. And that's Scorpio, and that was the full moon that we had in Scorpio. So maybe there's a message in there as well. The 13 then turns into a 4, and the 4 is in the 14 of the blending of temperance, right? And so Venus, Mercury in Cancer is saying celebrate. It's the message of you have plenty. See that it's amazing what's happening here, right? But I also want to see what is the Mother Piece Tarot bringing, and it's the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is Mars in Gemini. Now, what's interesting, Gemini is important because next reading, the Sun is in Gemini, and Gemini is your opposite sign. You're gonna get through the Sun in Gemini, the light for your full moon. And so something here is talking to you the same way that the eagle, right, has gotten the 5 of Swords. And so now here the 9 of Swords is even more intense. It's kind of like saying, hey, I am feeling really that my mind is racing, that I cannot be still. And the 4 and the 9 is the 13 again. So there is transformation needed, because you have these 3 cups. There is this celebration, there is plenty, and then you have these nightmares. What is that? Where is that coming from, right? So observe that, watch that, and learn to understand that something is here important for you to understand on a deeper level, right? Because now we have the 13, which is the 4 and the 9, again the 13, and the 4 is left. So the 4 is the stability, the 4 is the Emperor, and that is Neptune in Aries, maybe, that is doing this to you. So watch and observe that. Good. Now we're going to Jupiter. Jupiter is the harvest, and you getting here this beautiful picture, touch the sky, the number 32. The 10 and the 32 calculated together is the 5. Again, you get the 15. So maybe this message is for those who are actually the Queen of Pentacles, right? And you understand that the 15 has the attachment, has the 5 inside, the peacemaker inside, has also here the 5 of Swords, right? So observe and watch. Understand that the 3 in the 2, right? The 3 is the Empress, the 2 is the High Priestess. She's bringing her hair down. Your hair is connected to the third eye. That's why long hair is your antenna to the spiritual world. And she's leading, right, in the opposite way. This is an oxymoron in the picture. We have 5 birds here and 1 bird sitting on her right shoulder, and the right side is always the masculine side. And so here's the 5 when we calculate this together. Here's the peacemaker. It's almost like intuitive. You want to reach your peacefulness down, right, to earth from heaven. Now this 1 bird is then what creates a 6. That's the third eye, and that's where the hair comes in. Such a beautiful card, right? I really love it when this comes up. And the 15, when we calculate together, is the 6. So the 6 birds are telling you, hey, you can do it. What is coming from your deck, because Jupiter is ruling you, the 3 of Pipes, which is Sun in Aries. And that's really interesting because Aries, right, we know Neptune is in Aries. And so you understand that the 6 and the 3 is the 9. The 9, that's you as the 9th zodiac sign. So this is speaking to you. And you see that now the 15 and the 3 is the 18, and that's the moon. The moon, which is in Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius as the soul aspect, right? Not as the court card. You see that the 18 turns into the 9, and the 9 then is again, of course, understanding that the completion is when I step forward. Sun in Aries, I take action, I'm making the world mine. I am the one that wants to discover the world. I am Sagittarius who discovers always the world, who is going out there. And so the harvest is clear here, right? Because you understand that the 10 and the 3 is the 13 again. That's Scorpio. There's a transformation when you understand that you can go out there and take the world and make it yours. Then the moon. The moon is getting the mindful, the group think. Look at this beautiful card, right? So we have the 18, which is the 9, the grandmothers that plants the seeds in you, because she's the one that takes care of you when you were a child, right? Your parents had to work and your grandmother was looking after you, and she was putting beautiful seeds into your subconscious. And so here the 9 and the 4 again is the 13. And so I feel like Scorpio is really what's coming out here. And so the 13 again, the 4 is left. The 4 and the 0, be the emperor that begins completely new, like the fool doesn't know. It's like mindful, the group think is coming and bringing you the ideas. What is coming from your deck, because the moon is in your sign, you get the high priestess. Look at that. So now the moon is really talking. So this is the moon that is connected with Pisces, but now you're really getting the moon, and this moon is connected with Cancer. And so maybe if you more a Capricorn energy, right, you see that you are realizing here that the Cancer moon is letting you know that Mercury in Cancer is saying, hey, enjoy yourself. And that's the 2 in the 32, right? And you understand very clearly there is a big message here, because the 4 and the 2 is the 6, and again the 6, the third eye that is talking, and it's the 6 inside of the peacemaker, right? We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people sitting and looking at the peacemaker, and he's the number 6. He's becoming the number 6. And so the 6 is very clear, letting you know that when you have the mindful, go deep in your subconscious, become the seeker. She's looking at you, right? She's sitting to the left, and understand when we see it, it's to the left, but when we become it, it's to the right, right? And to the right is outward, and to the left is inward. And so understand the 4 and the 2 is the 6 again. We understand the third eye is being called for you to see within, and that every person that is in front of you is a mirror, right, to you, to your energy. Then comes the sun, and the sun is bringing you the soul, the passion, and that's the number 14. That's you. Look at you. So beautiful, right? So you see that there is water flowing into this cup, right? You see that water is being there to heal, and when we cry and we let go of the things that maybe have hurt us. So the rebirth, right? The 19 is the 10 and the 14 is the 5. Again, the 15 comes here. So maybe this is again for Capricorn. Understand that here you have the 3 of Cups. Understand that you are able to celebrate even though you have nightmares, even though you understand that this is Mars in Gemini. And so Mars is connected with Aries, Neptune in Aries, right? See that something is wanting to leave, and understand also that Aries, right, is the fighter, is always the 4, and the 4 has come here, right, the 40. So see that you have the possibility to be in a release. The 6 is appearing again, and so you understand that the 6 is quite clearly letting you know out of the 15, out of certain attachments, we can always come into the liberation, right? Then what is, of course, Taurus saying, because the sun is in Taurus, and the Queen of Swords is coming, and the Queen of Swords is Libra, justice. And so The 15 that turned into a 6, the 6 and the 7, again now the 13. So Scorpio, right? Scorpio just has been in here in the apprentice. Learn to understand that the 13 is always a transformation and the 4 is left. And she's pointing with the sword upwards, right? And you had here 9 swords, right? If you are the Queen of Pentacles, right, then it speaks rather to you on the 9, and this sword is the 10, is the completion. Or if you are the Knight of Wands, then the 5 of Swords plus 1 sword here is then, of course, 6 swords. That's again the liberation and the third eye. But of course, I can also calculate here the 5 and the 7, that's a 12. And the 12, that's Neptune in Aries. But I can also calculate the 9 and the 7 together, that's the 16, that's the Tower, that's Mars. And Mars in Gemini is saying, well, let go of that, because the 7 is left. And she, the Queen of Swords, shows you how to be focused, how to go up into the sky and learn to liberate yourself. Oh my God, such a beautiful message is already coming here, right? And you see that again, the 10 and the 5 is the 15. The 15 and the 7 is the 22. That's the Fool. That's the 0 here in the 40. And the Fool, we know, is Uranus. And Uranus is going to go into Gemini. And it's like, you cannot make this up, right? Mars in Gemini. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel that strongly. Now, what is the Queen of Swords bringing? Libra, she's bringing you the King of Wands. Now, you're a Knight of Wands, and I think you're maturing. The King of Wands is going towards her. He's literally saying, I am Leo, I am the fire, I am sitting on this horse, and he's going to the left. And to the left, remember, when we look at it, it goes to the left, but then when we become it, we're going out with this energy, with the joy, with the determination of a king. You are a knight, right? And as a knight, you are searching for adventure, but here, not searching for adventure anymore. You are the adventure. So the 5 and the 7 is again here a 12. The 12 is Neptune, Neptune in Aries. Here, then we had the 15, the 6, here out of the 12, the 3 and the 6, the 9. The 9 is saying, well, learn to understand that you are in the 9 always here, the Knight of Wands. You are learning to become a King of Wands. And so it's important for you to understand that. Last position, Pluto in retrograde, the discernment. And so here we get the beautiful card of stenches, scent tested to number 62. So the 62 calculated together is the 8, and of course the 20 and the 8, the 28 is a 10. And the 10 is a new cycle that will begin when the full moon is over. So become aware that you understand that next reading is the last reading, where we're going to the right, where we're going outwards, where we're going to your opposite sign, which is Gemini, right? And so maybe this is what you're feeling. You're feeling the full moon already. And so the 10 is here, and I'm going to read you this card. You stand before the gateward, the dragon Nidhugger, who chews the corpses that litter the shore before the Gargantan gateway. In monstrous silence, Nidhugger inhales your essence to test your measure. Nidhugger cherishes fearlessness as he squares you directly in the eyes and holds you fixed. Will you fail and crawl, or will you stand tall and match Nidhugger's might? Your call, but don't knock if you're not prepared to fall. And you see the arrow is going out, but you see here the dragon is here, the eyes, you see that? It's so powerful. And so he chews up, right, because Pluto is in retrograde. He chews up things like this, right? This body you don't want anymore, and this body you don't want either, right? This fighting and this quarreling, right? You want to leave the energies that are coming through. And so now I want to see what is actually Sagittarius saying, and we get the King of Wands again. Look at that, but it's the female King of Wands, because in this deck we have a masculine and a feminine king. Here in this deck we had just a masculine king, and so now you have a 5-5 portal with this 5, 3 times the 5, and 3 times the 5 is self-empowerment, in being joyous, in being who you can become when you become a king and not a knight anymore, right? And so you see very clearly the 10 and the 5 again is the 15. Now, because the King of Wands has come twice, I want to see what is the King of Wands telling you, and you're getting the 2 of Cups, Venus in Cancer. And you understand, right, that you had the 3 of Cups. Just gonna see how I'm gonna hold this. I'm going to put this down, otherwise it's just impossible to hold this. You have the 3 of Cups, so you have 5 cups here as well, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 times the 5, and 4 times the 5 now is the heart. But see that this is Venus in Cancer, and so here Cancer is involved with the 3 water signs, with the healing, right? And here Mercury in Cancer, and now Venus in Cancer, and Venus is the Empress. So there is a love maybe with a Leo or with a Libra, right? And you understand, this is like clearly bringing you like the message of you need to deeply understand that now we had here the 15. The 15 then is a 6. The 6 and the 5 is the 11, and so there is a portal. The 11 is also 2 times the 1. The 2 of Cups, right? The 2nd of November or the 11th of February could be a date. And you see the arrow goes here into Leo, and from Leo we get the 2 of Cups. And you see that there is a love, there's a deep love that you need to evolve into, maybe to become a king that is knowing what it's all about. And so the 3 and the 2 of Cups are 5 cups, right? And that's again the 5 that you need to understand is right here in the throat chakra, the 5 people that are sitting here and that you can teach to. Now, of course, I want to see what is your deck bringing to Pluto, and you're getting the Apprentice of Stones. And so here we have the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus is here through the sun, the peacemaker. Capricorn is here through the harvest lodge of the stones, if you are not the Knight of Wands, if you rather the Queen of Pentacles, right? And so you understand there is really a powerful message, and I'm noticing myself how much more complicated the reading is, but I'm able to handle it, right? So it's the first time I'm doing this, and it's really interesting because I can see the difference, right? When I have actually the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles lying here, and this is the mix, right? The mix, but the message comes always through Sagittarius, through the blending. And so maybe you can blend the energy of these two together, because the 10 and the 9 is the 19, that's the sun. And so the sun is speaking, and the sun is in Taurus, and Taurus is the peacemaker. So understand the mix, understand the complicatedness in this reading, but I hope you get it, right? And so we had the 11 and here now the 3. So the 3rd of November or the 11th of March could be now a new date. But understand, here are the 3 earth signs, the young people that are also taking care of the earth the same way here the young people are taking care of their emotions. And so it's a beautiful message. Understand the young people, understand that healing is always important, because healing is like the Empress, the 2 that is in here, and see that the dragon is literally saying, do you see me? Right? Look at me. Can you be a dragon, and can you go out there and be here through Pluto, through the mystical aspects of life? Because Pluto is deep, deep, deep waters. The same way Scorpio is like the absolute transformation into the death, right? You letting go of the old body, you're shedding, and you understand that here also is a 5. I'm just seeing it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the 5, right? And 5 times is here, right? With him, or the peacemaker, we have 6 times the 5, then you are in the 3rd eye. But understand the message, right? The message is so clear, is so strong. The young generation is important. We need to take care of them. We need to see that there is always a possibility to heal, and having the passion to do so is important. And as such, the message is clear. Heal yourself, touch the sky with the 3rd eye, and come through and let go of the 9 and the 5, which is the 14 as well, but the 5 is left in the end. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get the Sun in Gemini. Gemini has come up through the 9 of Swords, right? Watch that, observe that, and maybe we're going to see that in the next reading. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.